This is David Wheaton. The following is a short take from the Christian Worldview radio program. You can hear the full program at thechristianworldview.org. Why did you title the film The 1916 Project? It sounds like there's a correlation to the more liberal 1619 Project. And tell us about why your organization is called the White Rose Resistance.
The White Rose Resistance is the story of a bunch of kids in their 20s that were an anti-Nazi Christian resistance movement in 1942 and 1943. And pretty much all of them were Christians, and they just became horrified at what they saw happening. And so they began to distribute anti-Nazi leaflets around Germany. They said things like, "If you know, why do you not act?" They said, "We are the White Rose Resistance. We are your bad conscience, and we will not leave you alone." And it's just an inspiring story, not very well known here in the States, but these people are national heroes in Germany because they actually did something. They pushed back, they stood up, they spoke out, and they tried to mobilize others to stand against what they saw happening with Hitler. And so we took kind of that movement and name for our organization because we believe we're facing a very similar human rights injustice and violation with the killing of babies in America and the deterioration of the family. And like it was then, so it is today. Only the church is going to be able to bring a grinding halt to that if the church will wake up. The movie I made last year, the 1916 Project, we did a play on the New York Times 1619 Project. And it's not just funny because it's switching the letters. There's actually like a philosophical and cultural relationship between the two projects, and I'll say it as shortly as I can. But that came out at the end of 2019, the 1619 Project, right? Everything's racist, all this stuff, right? That was about 9 months before George Floyd. Once that happened and the leftists were burning down every major Democrat-run city in America, people in the media came out and started, I don't know if you remember this, they named, we call it the mostly peaceful, somewhat fiery summer of 2020. They were referring to it as the 1619 riots. So they were linking the project, which said, there's nothing redeemable about America. It was started in abject, overt racism, and so you can't redeem it. You got to burn down the whole thing, remake it from the ashes. They're linking that outrage and that violence and those quote-unquote protests, which were really riots, to that project, saying, see, this is why this kind of behavior is justified, because the white man still has his knee on the neck of the black man and everything is racist or whatever. Well, then that summer of 2020, you'll remember the left started targeting corporations, institutions, companies, colleges, anything that they argued had a history of racism or was launched in or began in racism. And so in that environment, the left went after Planned Parenthood, David. That's right, not conservatives, because the revolution always eats its own. Pro-abortion leftists attacked Planned Parenthood in the summer of 2020 while they were attacking anything they said was racist. And they said, hey, Planned Parenthood, hey, your founder was a racist. It leads to this whole news story where the Sanger Center, the Manhattan mega Planned Parenthood clinic, which, by the way, Planned Parenthood's selling that building right now. They can't afford to pay the lease because Trump started defunding Planned Parenthood. They came out and said, okay, we're taking her name off the building. They renamed the building so it didn't have Sanger's name on it. New York City took the street sign off of the corner of that same street where Planned Parenthood building sit that was called the Sanger Center. They took that down, and then they stopped giving out the Margaret Sanger Award, which you'll recall Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris was trying really hard to get the Margaret Sanger Award. And so because of the pressure from the 1619 Project revolutionaries going around saying everything's racist, thanks to them, Planned Parenthood admitted in the summer of 2020, our founder was a real piece of human vermin, and we're not going to give out her award anymore, and we're going to take her name off of our building. So I opened my film and book with the question, what's so bad about her that the left had to go cancel their own and eat their own? What's the real story? What's the real history behind the woman who's been called the patron saint of feminism and the founder of the largest abortion provider in the world, the second largest provider of puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones, and the largest provider of the pornographic filth called comprehensive sexuality education in America's public schools? And we answer that question.
This has been a short take from the Christian Worldview radio program. To hear the full program and connect with this nonprofit radio ministry, go to thechristianworldview.org. I'm David Wheaton.